All right, hello and welcome back to the Carl Jackson
Your daily
Show.
dose of objective truth in a world of confusion.
We're going to be talking about that. I'm going to break it
policy,
down.
because their policies are killing people. Very important. We've got to restore sanity in America, and I think it's going to start happening.
Hey, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of freedom. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I got so much that I want to get to. Obviously, Trump travels to China for his meeting with Xi Jinping. We'll talk about that. Trump rejected the Iranian ceasefire response. So I'll get into that, give you my take on that. You have this mayor of Arcadia, California, Eileen Wang, admits to acting as a Chinese spy. 1 in 3 Democrats think the Trump assassination, the latest, was staged. I'm going to tell you why I think this is why that's extremely dangerous, and why I've been saying it for a long time. The left is going to increasingly get more and more violent, and you got to be prepared for that. The Democrats are desperate to reverse the Supreme Court decision that allowed redistricting to happen across the country, that set off this redistricting race. So the Democrats are panicked right now that they thought that they were going to have an easy win when it comes to the House of Representatives in the midterms, and the opportunity to do that has gotten a little slimmer. It isn't to say that they aren't going to be able to win the House of Representatives. They just have a steeper climb now that Republicans were willing to get into the redistricting fray. And I'm sorry, I am totally down for the redistricting, simply because Democrats have been doing this forever. Gerrymandering has been going on forever. It's actually named after, I forget the name of the gentleman that started this thing. I remember doing a show back in the day, either on Larry Elder's show or Dennis Prager's, explaining the history of it, but I've forgotten the history of it. So I'm going to have to go back and research it myself. But nonetheless, gerrymandering has been it's been done since the conception, basically, of the United States of America, where political parties have tried to get the edge up on each other, or I should say, at least since the beginning of the two-party system. Anyway, so we will get into that. But I want to take you to this thing. I'm talking about AOC, the Commie Puppet. And I believe that's what she is. And I'm going to get to the latest stories of the day, but I wanted to make sure that I made that point. And I want to bring this thing to your attention. I like working with things, for those of you that know me, that have watched the program. And please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Please like our stuff, particularly when it comes to YouTube. Share and subscribe. That's going to help us out a whole bunch, and we would certainly appreciate that. The Carl Jackson Show, and that way you can get everything sent to you. You can get alerted when we're on, so on, etc. And we're trying a new schedule here, so just bear with us. We will get this thing down here. But I thought about this thing because I've heard a lot of people talk about AOC being a complete and utter idiot. I don't disagree with that. But here's where I do disagree. If they think that she's going to be impotent, if they think that she's not going to be impactful, whether it's 2026, whether it's 2028, I think she already has been. I think Barack Obama has been. I think Bernie Sanders has been. I think a lot of his candidates, and I talked about this before, a lot of his acolytes are rising to the top when it comes to the Democrat Party. I mean, just look at Graham Plattner, that you have in Maine running for the Senate. Look at Mamdani. Look at, I forget the name of I believe his name is El Said, if I'm not mistaken, in Michigan running for the Senate. You have all of these commies that are rising to power, or at least trying to rise to power inside of the United States of America. And I started thinking about AOC because over the weekend, she said a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm going to play a clip for you, Gabe, if you'll get cut number 11 ready. And I know that you guys have watched this clip, but I think that I'm going to be able to put it into just a different perspective for you, because I really believe that this is one of the arguments that we have to take down. What the left uses is they use identity politics, they use the DEI, critical race theory, so on, etc. But they also use class warfare. It's something that they've used for quite some time. And it seems to me that they navigate wherever it's convenient between the two. So I noticed you've got AOC hitting class warfare hard and big time now. You've got these, did you guys see the Jews being basically not necessarily attacked, even though at least one woman was, with these pro-Hamas protesters in New York City, literally roaming through their neighborhoods, causing chaos in a Jewish neighborhood, basically, just absolutely insane. We're going to see more and more and more and more of that, and by necessity. And for all of you guys, there's some people out there, it's crazy to me. There's some people out there that fall into the anti-Semitism, claim to be people of faith, claim to be Christians. They become racist. They become bigots. They fall into the anti-Semitism. You're next, fool. I mean, it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. What's happening to the Jewish population in America, the rise of anti-Semitism, actually not just in America, but frankly around the globe. It's absolutely insane. Obviously, Christian persecution too. Excuse me. But what's happening with Jews? It's just astounding to me, particularly when it comes to what we're seeing in America. But and then I sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, of course they would go after the Jews. Why not go after the Jews? The Jews are an easy target. Christians are an easy target, but Jews are an easy target. They have a small population here in the United States of America. They only make up just over 1% of our of the population in the United States of America. You have a country that's about 9 million people, give or take, in the Middle East, and then you get so many people hating Jews that basically you give them the appetite to hate certain people, and it's all a psyop. And then the next thing you know, they're going to turn on you, and that's going to eventually happen. But I was thinking about AOC, because AOC is a communist. She's not a socialist. They're not democratic socialists, ma'am Danny, whatever. They're not democratic socialists. These people are communists. They want to take over. They want you to bow down to government. All right. They want a full takeover of the government. That's what they want to do. They want to make sure that you bow down to them. They want a centrally planned government, and that's what they're working towards, and we have to be aware of that. So I want to play this cut for you, and then I want to share with you this theme that I came up with, because I think it's important, and I posted it actually on my social media. So if you'll go to my social media, I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook at Carl Jackson Show, at the Carl Jackson Show. Please be sure to like what I put out. Please be sure to share what I put out. I would certainly appreciate that. And guys, it's not like I'm making. I know there's a lot of people out there that are making buku money in this game. I'd like to one day. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But at the same token, man, I just believe that I'm in the fight for America. And I can't believe, just like many of you, some of the stuff that I'm seeing today, and it's driving me crazy. But I do want to deal with this first, and right off the bat, if we could go to cut number 11. Go to cut number 11, Gabe. Cut number 11. This is AOC.
There's a certain level of wealth and accumulation that is unearned, right? You can't earn $1 billion.
That's right.
You just can't earn that.
That's exactly correct.
You can get market power. You can break rules. You can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws.
Yep.
You can pay people less than what they're worth.
Yep.
But you can't earn that, right?
That's right.
And so you have to create a myth that, since you didn't earn that, you have to create a myth of earning it.
So I don't know what's more disconcerting to me. I don't know if it's AOC and with those foolish words, or I don't know if it's the seal that she had. I don't know what podcast that is, but the lady that just went along with the nonsense as if AOC was spewing something brilliant. Of course, you can earn $1 billion. You can make a product, and you can have hundreds of thousands. You can have millions of people, depending on the price point, buy it, and you can earn $1 million. You can be like Jeff Bezos. You can create an Amazon and earn $1 billion. Excuse me. You can be a Michael Jordan, whose mother was wise to help him figure out this shoe deal where he would get part of the profits with every Nike or Jordan shoe that was sold, where you could earn $1 billion. where you were making money on the court, you were making money off the court, you were making money in advertisement. You could be a Tyler Perry, you could be an Oprah, you could be an Oprah Winfrey. Yes, you could be an Elon Musk who gave people Tesla, that's given people SpaceX, so on, etc. You can earn that because when you create stuff that people want, and that's the way that you earn it, when you become a billionaire, or you're going to be an investor. But when you give people stuff that they want and they buy it, guess what? You can earn $1 billion. Now, I haven't earned $1 billion. Would I like to? Yes. But this is what I need to share with you. See, because I heard so many conservatives get stuck on this point. Oh, she's so dumb. She doesn't know what she's talking about. The mistake that I believe conservatives are making is, and I want you to hear this, you don't have to understand economics to destroy capitalism. Let me say that again. You do not have to understand economics to destroy capitalism. You may think that AOC is dumb. I agree with you. But she knows exactly what she's doing. Okay, so before we get back to AOC, there are a few things that I want to make mention of because obviously there's a lot that's happening in the news today. You have President Trump traveling to China. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Why? Because China is our main adversary. There's no doubt about it. I say in second place would be the left inside of the United States of America. Sounds like a crazy thing to say, but listen, I don't think it is. Again, going back to that video with AOC, the nonsense that AOC was spewing was just that's what it was. It was nonsense. But what's more disconcerting to me again is the girl that's sitting there just like, yep. Like you can't earn, you can, well, if you can earn $100 and then you can earn $100,000. You can earn $100,000. There's people that'll figure out, some people will say, all right, well, I've reached my limit. Some people say, well, I want to earn more. What can I do to earn more? What do I need to do? Do I need to work more? Do I need to figure out some other way to make money? Some different industry where I can make profits? And this nonsense that people are going to be abused. Labor laws are going to be abused. Employees are going to be abused. You've got HR departments now. People literally go volunteer to work. People go fill out an employment application to go to work. There's honestly this idea that there's all these people in the workforce that are being abused and they're being underpaid. Are there some? Obviously, for sure, there's some. I just to believe that this is a mass problem is just absolutely insane to me. People go into a job interview. Okay, this is our pay. Do you accept this? Yes. Oh, okay. Can I mean, is there job growth here? Can I make more down the line? Can I be elevated? Can I grow in position? So on, et cetera. Can I advance? Yeah, sure. You do A, B, C, and D. We see that you're going to get employed. I mean, it's just complete and utter nonsense. But again, what scares me more are the people that buy into this stuff and believe it, because America is different than the rest of the world. And so what AOC is doing is fundamentally undermining what the United States is, the land of opportunity. That's what we are. Listen, when you consider the Declaration of Independence, right? Our rights, what our founders were so brilliant on, is that our rights weren't given to us by government. Rights aren't given to us by government. Rights are given to us by God. We have certain inalienable rights endowed by our Creator. AOC wants to be the boss. Bernie Sanders wants to be the boss. Barack Obama wants to be your boss. They want to flip the idea of the Constitution on its head. We, the people in the United States of America, have the power, and they want to flip that on its head. They want people to buy into this notion that the only people that can make things more, think about this, the only people that can make things morally right inside of the United States are politicians. And I cannot believe, this is what's so difficult for me. I cannot believe how many people are falling for this nonsense. We're in a straight psyops campaign. So one of the reasons why I mentioned anti-Semitism, people are falling in for the anti-Semitism that we never thought it would do so. And they're part of the psyops, in my opinion. Oh, it's just the Jews. We're going after the Jews. The Jews are okay to pick on now. You're going to be next. You better stand up for the Jews because they're coming for you next. They're just trying to whet your appetite. See, look at what these Soros people are doing, in cahoots with the Mamdanis of the world, in cahoots with the Bernie Sanders of the world, getting people to turn against Jews. What about when the Soroses of the world, the politicians of the world, starts turning their ire against you? So you better stand up for the Jews. There's more on AOC that I want to get to. Trump traveling to China. I think I mentioned it and then I just walked right past it. Okay. So there's a few objectives that have to happen when it comes to China. Obviously, China are our adversary, our main adversary outside of the United States of America. There was a great article in Breitbart just earlier. I believe it was today. And it was, who's the name of the senator? I believe it's Senator Dave McCormick out of Pennsylvania. And he did an interview with Breitbart and he had some great comments. And I think he summed it up perfectly. I'm not going to stick on this a long time. I just think when it comes to Xi Jinping, there's a few things that President Trump will focus on and needs to focus on. And that's American energy exports right now. Honestly, guys, we're kicking booty when it comes to the Western Hemisphere. Remember, you had China that was reliant on Venezuela. Cuba was relying on Venezuela for oil, and I believe Iran and Russia. I mean, all of these people, all of these commies were kind of relying on each other, trying to work around the United States of America, trying to kind of build their own industry of power, if you will, not just Eastern power, but coming into our own backyard. And President Trump put the kibosh on that. And he did that with Venezuela. He's doing that with Iran when it comes to oil because China is so dependent upon the Strait of Hormuz. They're so dependent upon the oil that they were getting from Iran. And now these people, to get any of it, obviously they're hurting because they're not getting any of it, frankly, with the blockade in Iran. And what they are getting from us in Venezuela, they have to pay full price for. I'm sure they're still getting some from Russia, but at least from us, they have to pay full price. And then you got Russia that's burning fuel, burning soldiers, so on, et cetera. So all of these people are hurting. But what Trump has to get from Iran, he's got to make sure that they understand as American energy experts, we're going to be the top dog. We need to lead in AI. I'm not the biggest fan of AI. Yes, I think it's creepy, but at the same token, I think that we need to lead when it comes to AI. I don't trust anyone else with it, with the exception of Israel, quite frankly. And so those are areas that we need to lead in. And again, China's dependence on Iran. We want them to buy oil from us. See, China is our main adversary. They want to go around. They want to be the big dog. We're taking that from them. I want to make sure it stays that way. More on AOC. Let's go to cut number 3. Again, I believe that AOC is basically a commie puppet, and I think she's a good commie puppet. And I think a lot of conservatives are stuck on the fact she's so dumb. She graduated from Boston College with an economics degree. I can't believe how dumb she is. I'm going to go through some of the communist points, the communist takeovers. And guys, it's funny to me that people believe that communists, they think communists need to understand economics, capitalism. No, they don't. They just need to hate it. It's not like they're trying to fulfill capitalism. It's not like they're trying to make it better. No, they're trying to take over the means of production. They want to make sure that you work, but they're in control. They get to determine what you make. What AOC is doing is normalizing government coming in and saying, you can only make this much. You can only make this much. We get to determine that. And then you got the lemmings, like whoever that was in that podcast. I mean, just insane. Lemmings. And these people are just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, because they don't understand what America is. And that's what's scary to me. Let's go to cut number 4. Actually, cut number 4. Cut number 4, please, Gabe. More of AOC.
You know, it's funny because in this op-ed that Jeff Bezos paid for in the Washington Post. There was this line that you had mentioned earlier about, well, as a potential 2028 contender, XYZ. And in the context of that, it was very clear this was a veiled threat, right? So it was the elite saying, if you want this job, you just stepped out of line. And we want you to know where the real power is. And it's in the modern day barons who own the Post and own the algorithms, and we'll make an example out of you. And what's funny about that is that they assume that my ambition is positional. They assume that my ambition is a title or a seat. And my ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. And presidents come and go, Senate, House seats, elected officials come and go, but single-payer health care is forever. A living wage is forever. Workers' rights are forever. Women's rights, all of that.
Okay. That's actually really scary. That's actually really scary. I'm going to explain why. Because I think the fight to save America, I think we're in the fight for our lives to save America. Is it going to die overnight? No. Are we going to lose it in one election? No. But bit by bit, we'll continue to lose it if we don't fight back against this type of nonsense that AOC is spewing. She's got some ambitions, and every ambition that she mentioned is either socialist or communist. And so we'll talk about that. All right. So AOC says they assume my ambition is positional. I guess speaking of the Washington Post, they assume my ambition is a title or a seat. My ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. But her ambition is positional. Make no mistake about it. They assume my ambition is a title or a seat. That is her ambition. That is part of it. But she goes on to say, my ambition is way bigger than that. See, I think she's saying that's not enough. I've heard some conservatives even say, and that's fine. I understand why they would say it. Oh, she's saying she doesn't have, she's not aspiring to be the president of the United. No, I don't think that's not what she's saying at all. She said they assume my ambition is positional. Yeah, I got to have that position, but that's not it. They assume my ambition is a title or a seat. Yeah, I want the title and the seat, but that's not it. My ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. Guys, the only countries, frankly, in my opinion, standing between communism, socialism, the United States of America, and Israel. And I can hear all the anti-Semites. Oh, you must have been paid $7,000. You must be 7,000 times dumber than the average person. It's phenomenal to me. Even that's a psyop. Even that's a psyop to get you to follow people that are absolutely clueless when it comes to geopolitics. People that are excusing bigotry, that'll soon be turned against themselves. She wants single payer healthcare. Guys, if government controls healthcare, they control you, right? Don't they? They can control where you go. We saw that with COVID. They can control what you eat, who you can be around. Single payer. And these people are just clapping like seals. You saw the one guy in the front of that video, like a good little liberal pounding his chest. Oh, bravo, bravo, bravo. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. The brainwashing that has occurred on college campuses, and dare I say, probably elementary school, middle school, high school, man, they have put in some work. We've got a lot of work to do to reverse that. And that's one of the reasons the left are so outraged about the redistricting maps. I'll get into that momentarily, but I want to play more of AOC real quick. Let's go to cut number 3. This is AOC dropping this gem about the American Revolution. Cut number 3.
The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. And we are declaring independence from such an extreme marriage of wealth and power and the state.
That is okay. So that is so crazy. We know that many of the founders were very rich themselves. So this wasn't against the revolution, wasn't against the billionaires of their time. Actually, what the revolution was expanding opportunity so more people could become wealthy, so more people could become free. Yeah, did it take a long time? I understand 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. The Republican Party had to raise up and to fulfill that part of the Constitution, of the Declaration of Independence. But guys, we're living in a different America today. Those founders sacrificed their lives, their fortunes. But why is AOC doing that? Honestly, I'm getting frustrated when I think about this stuff. Why is AOC doing this? See, here's the deal. If you're going to undermine America, you have to undermine its founding. You have to undermine the founding fathers. You can't speak about the founding fathers that were abolitionists. You can't speak about George Washington, even though he had his faults because he was a human being. And we can't judge history that we didn't live in. Or we can, I guess, I take that back. You can judge it, but you have to judge it contextually, historically. George Washington, in my opinion, will always be the greatest president of the United States of America because he set the tone. No, man, I'm not staying here in Washington. No, man, I'm not going to be a king. You know, these pieces of paper, these documents, they're not just words to me. We're either going to do this thing or we're not. So I'm going to go home to Mount Vernon. I'm going to let you guys take care of the country because I'm not a king. We're doing something different here. And he could have been a king. Our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor. We're all endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, amongst them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So the Constitution was the first document of its kind to say, you know what? All people should be equal. To this day, that isn't the consensus around the world, except here in the United States. Did it take us a little while to get there? Yes, but other countries that have been around thousands of years longer than us haven't gotten there yet. But you have to undermine the founders if you want to undermine the United States of America. You got to stop teaching about them. You got to stop teaching about them where it's contextually accurate. That's what the commies do because they want to take over. The people that established a nation that gave us freedom in order to dismantle that idea, the goodness of America, the greatness of America. You have to go back to the founders. You have to tear them down. They're nothing but a bunch of old white men. They're nothing but a bunch of bigots, a bunch of racists, so on, etc. Oh, they were against the billionaires of their day. No. Actually, they weren't. They weren't. Not in that sense, right? They weren't. They wanted to be free men. They had a bunch of grievances with the king, and they wanted to be free men, and they wanted to be a free country, and they were willing to die for that. And what they died for, what they sacrificed for, has given the world the greatest country that's ever been known to man. More of AOC, cut number 5. Cut number 5, please, Gabe.
We are not divided by state. We are united by our humanity and common citizenship. Because no man can grant us our humanity. No law can erase it. No king, no system, and no president can strip it away, Ebenezer. Because it is not given by man, it is ordained by God.
That's the Democrat blackface. That's the Democrat blackface. All right. They go into these churches. They try to sound like black pastors. What's amazing to me is she's preaching what she doesn't even believe. They're not given by what government, basically. They're given by God. And she tries to sound like a straight sister. She's trying to sound like she's out of the hood, like she's gone to a black church her whole life. This should be insulting to people. But she's got to keep that audience happy too, because that audience it's going to have to spread the message of communism. Let me give you this is a piece of research that I've kept with me for years, honestly. A communist take over America in 45 easy steps. And I won't go through all of them. I just don't have the time to do so. But this was a website. I don't even know if it exists anymore, standupforthetruth.com. But you can Google this and you can find it. I just want to read some of these things. U.S. acceptance of the communist goals from the Congressional Record, January 10 of 1963. Number 1, U.S. acceptance of coexistence as the only alternative to atomic war. Now, the left don't really want to coexist anymore. You used to see a lot of these people with the coexist bumper stickers. That's the dumbest thing ever. That bumper sticker is so dumb. When you understand world philosophies, when you understand world religions, you understand that you're naive. So if you ever see someone with a coexist bumper sticker, just understand they don't get it. Number 2, U.S. willingness to capitulate in preference to engaging in atomic war. Number 4, permit free trade between all nations, regardless of communist affiliation. And regardless of whether or not items could be used for war. Guys, do you remember I showed a video, was it last week, Representative J.L. Paul basically standing up for Cuba, standing up for the communist country of Cuba? Hey, why isn't Russia has only been able to get one tanker in there with oil that only lasts them 10 or 14 days? Wait a minute, I thought you hated Putin. Extension of long-term loans to Russia and Soviet satellites. Number 6, provide American aid to all nations, regardless of communist domination. Grant recognition of Red China, admission of Red China to the UN. We've done that. Promote the UN as the only hope for mankind. If its charter is written, demand that it be set up as a one world government with its own independent armed forces. Resist any attempt to outlaw the Communist Party. Do away with all loyalty oaths, like the Pledge of Allegiance in schools, perhaps the 10 Commandments in schools. Use technical decisions of the courts to weaken basic American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights, like going after the Supreme Court for allowing redistricting, which we'll get into. Okay, so another one that I didn't mention: get control of the schools. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers, associations. Put the party line in textbooks. We just played a bunch of AOC clips. And there's so many people out there. Oh, she's so dumb. She's so dumb. And they're right. But she still knows what she's doing. She understands. I'm going to have a good degree from Boston. I don't care. I don't have to understand economics to undermine the United States. I don't have to be smart when it comes to economics to undermine capitalism. All I got to tell you is that billionaires are bad. And you're going to fall for it, because you're going to be envious. And people are basically evil. This is the reason why AOC and people can take advantage of that. The reason why people can easily turn people towards Jews is there's this notion out there that people are basically good. No, that's wrong. People are basically evil. And we have to be trained to be good. We have to be trained to be disciplined. We have to be trained to be good. Parents train us in that way. Our spouses train us in that way. Our churches may train us to be good. We have to be trained to be good. You believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You follow his word. It trains you. It raises you up to be a better person. Even though that doesn't earn you salvation, but nonetheless, it's a byproduct. You become a better person. But people are inherently evil. And a lot of people don't understand that. And frankly, that's why a ceasefire, that's why any agreements with Iran, the IRGC will never work. They will never work. I love what President Trump has been doing with foreign policy, but I don't like this ceasefire because I think President Trump believes that he can legitimately get a deal with these people. And I hope that he's just fooling all of us, frankly, because you're not going to be able to get a deal with people that have a religious belief, a religious worldview. As crazy as it may be to the rest of us, we call them lunatics. Yeah. And that word seems fitting, but they're not just lunatics. These people are ideologues, religious ideologues, and they're not going to give that up. They'll do whatever they can for power. The same way with the communists. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, motion pictures, maybe even social media. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. You guys know that abstract art, bunch of crap. Nobody knows what it is. Yeah, that's intentional. That's intentional. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. That's happened in so many churches, particularly black churches across the United States. It's unbelievable. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. This chick is a commie plant, AOC is. She's not working alone, but you have to understand what's going on. All right, we talked about Trump traveling to China. Let me just make mention real quick before I move on to another topic. I want to move on to what's happening, these redistricting wars that are continuing. The left are going apoplectic when it comes to that. I want to talk about Iran as well. I want to talk about what's happening in Los Angeles because this Spencer Pratt is really gaining ground now. I do have to warn you, you've got to be careful. I love what Spencer Pratt is doing. I'm going to donate to this guy's campaign because even if he loses, I think that he can make inroads. See, a lot of people, and I pray to God that there's going to be an earthquake in California. I'm praying that Steve Hilton wins the gubernatorial race and the two Republicans with Chad Bianco remain the top two candidates. And I'm hoping that Spencer Pratt can win the LA mayor's race. And I almost think that would be just as large of an earthquake as winning the gubernatorial race, if not more so, because you're talking about just a major, the biggest blue city inside of the entire state of California, as opposed to the governor who has to win a bunch of different areas, including red areas. And I almost think this would be a bigger earthquake. And I hope that it happens, but I'm also realistic in that what we're witnessing online may not necessarily translate to votes, but I'm hoping Spencer Pratt will prove me wrong because he is gaining in the polls. But regardless, even if he loses, and again, make sure you get out and vote for him and spread the message for him. But even if he loses, people are hearing arguments that they hadn't heard before. More people are starting to wake up. And that's because of the work that he's putting in. That's a good thing. Let me get into this redistricting stuff because a lot of people are still upset about what's happening with redistricting. And also I do want to talk about what's happening with with Iran. President Trump rejected the ceasefire deal. I'll get into that a little bit, but a few things that Iran wanted. And President Trump said, we're not having it. Iran wanted the fighting in Lebanon involving Hezbollah and IDF to come to a stop. Now, why would they want that? That's because they want to continue the terror that's happening in Lebanon with Hezbollah. They want to be able to kill Israelis. Carl, why should we be concerned with that? Because they're freaking Islamic terrorists and they're coming for all of us. Frankly, I just think we should sell Israel whatever weapons they want and say, do whatever the heck you need to do in the Middle East to get rid of this problem. In Iran, in Lebanon, get rid of the problem. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with the Islamic terrorists. Israel is now getting, again, the Gulf states are like working with Israel because Iran is so bad. And these people are coming for all of us. I know people don't want to deal with that. I know we got kitchen table issues to deal with, and I don't want to neglect those, but I'm not naive either because these people want to blow up your kitchen table. And so, but honestly, I think Americans have been so dumbed down when it comes to geopolitics, not to mention we got tired of these politicians that were running these wars in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and not letting the wars be won. And right now, I got to admit, I'm a little frustrated. Because I expected this thing to be over relatively quickly, and I think it could have been over quicker. And I think these ceasefires are actually disheartening. But Iran wants the fighting in Lebanon to stop. They want guarantees of safety related to the security of maritime shipping routes in the region. So they want to be able to come and go. They don't want that Navy blockade. They also want to separate nuclear negotiations from ceasefire talks. In other words, they want to stall. So that's what's going on with Iran. They want to continue to stall. All right. So now let me get on to what's happening in with this redistricting. I want to play Jim Clyburn. If we have time for cut 14, Gabe, let's play cut 14. This is Representative Jim Clyburn out of South Carolina, and he's furious that these redistricting battles are heating up. Cut number 14.
So let's talk about the redistricting wars, the gerrymandering wars more broadly. President Trump kicked off this battle by urging Texas to redistrict and create more Republican-leaning seats last year. Then Democrats decided to fight fire with fire. California came after that, Virginia, and more. After redrawing maps in 6 states, Republicans now have approximately an 8-seat advantage in these gerrymandering wars. What do you think this might mean come November? Might Republicans hold the House?
Well, they might. And they might not, because I do believe that the voters in this country are watching very closely, and they are feeling emotionally what the threat is to our future. And I do not believe that the majority of the voters in this country condone and will agree with what President Trump is doing. South Carolina, our delegation, our House, talked with him, the Senate, I guess, on day before yesterday. But the Supreme Court, 2 years ago, spoke to this district and said it was not unconstitutional. But the president says he wants them to redraw the lines anyway. All I'm going to say to that is be very careful what you pray for. Because what I do believe is that when they finish with the redistricting, there will be the possibilities of at least 3 Democrats getting elected here in South Carolina to the United States Congress.
Oh, so you think that the redistricting they're doing in South Carolina could not only dilute your Democratic-leaning district, but other Republican-leaning districts so as to make them more competitive. That's interesting.
Okay, and that's true. You're probably going to dilute districts. My buddy Christopher Hart of the American Adversaries was talking about this the other day on his radio program, and it's absolutely true. You're probably going to dilute some red districts as well. Guys, I'm going to say something that's I don't care. I don't care. I think the maps should be drawn not based upon race. I think people should have to battle it out for ideas. I think they should work hard. That's best for America. That's good for all America. All right. It's as plain as simple as that. Getting rid of racial gerrymandering is a good thing. All right. So I have more clips that I want to show you because Democrats, again, are absolutely furious when it comes to the gerrymandering. But again, I have to admit, Jim Clyburn is right. Listen, gerrymandering or redistricting, this isn't anything new. All right. This started a long time ago. All right. And so both parties do it. Yes, it's true. But at the same time, we can look at what Democrats have done in states like California, Illinois, all across the good Lord, all across New England, basically, and the gerrymandering that has occurred there to make sure that even though Republicans represent literally, I think it's 40% of the New England states, they have 0 representatives representing them. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And that's because they've been gerrymandered out. That's exactly what they tried to do in Virginia. So the Democrats want to bring up what happened in Texas, and yes, it happened in Texas. Texas kicked off some redistricting. They had done it in New York, but frankly, they had done it in New York a long time prior. Again, they've done it in California. Again, they've done it in Illinois. Democrats have been doing this a long time to get the upper hand when it comes to elections in blue states, blue cities, so on, et cetera. But they've been gerrymandering. And I've made this distinction before. I do believe there's a difference between gerrymandering and redistricting. When you're redistricting, you're trying to draw maps that are constitutionally sound and fitting, where it's like, okay, so this is a congressional district, this particular circle, as opposed to gerrymandering. Let me find the voters that I know, regardless of what I'm saying, will vote for me. If that means I have to have a little circle here, a snake here, a diamond on the the East Coast of the state, let me do that. So the freaking the district looks like a snake or a freaking guitar of sorts. No, that's gerrymandering. And that's what Democrats have been guilty of. And now they're getting a taste of their medicine. And you know what? I don't think it's going to backfire on Republicans per se. I think it's backfiring on Democrats. But now what you're going to have, instead of people saying, all these people that are out there, blacks are going to be disenfranchised. There are people having heated discussions on places like CNN. Blacks are going to be disenfranchised, so on, et cetera. That's crazy talk. No, they're not. Blacks are going to continue to be able to vote just like they've always been able to vote. Minorities are going to be able to vote. I shouldn't say like they've always, but since they have been in modern American times, since Republicans fought to give them the right to vote. So thank God for 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Republicans, great job. Democrats will never admit to that. All they do is talk about the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Well, we were fighting for civil rights in the Republican Party for over 100 years before Democrats tried to co-opt it, or actually have effectively co-opted it. And now people believe that they're the party that tried to help blacks and free the slaves. And you'd be surprised at how many minorities don't know that. But that's the truth. But these people are overreacting. Again, black people now are going to have to say, wait, what's his skin color? He represents my interests. Well, what are your interests? Oh, I want my family to be safe. I want my kids to have a good school. I want opportunity. Oh, okay. As a Republican, that's my interest too. Those are my interests too. So it's not about color. It's about ideas now. Listen, there was a point in time where I believed some of these maps may have been necessary. There was a time where affirmative action may have been necessary. Those times have gone away decades ago. Decades ago. Now you have people that have to pretend as if you have blacks having to pretend as if we're still living in the 1960s. Like that. What's that guy? Justin Pearson in Tennessee. Video of him talking about he wants everybody to get along, basically. And now he's out there talking like he's Malcolm X and yelling at cops and so on. And just crazy. All right, let's play some more clips for you. This is a Tennessee Democrat that's so furious, or Tennessee Democrats that are so furious they believe that Memphis needs to secede from Tennessee. Cut number 18. Cut number 18, please.
If this body believes that Memphis should not have the right to elect representation reflective of its own community, the legislature should explain why Memphis should continue to be part of the state of Tennessee. Let Memphis secede. You don't have to redraw maps when you let us out. Let my people go.
Where are you going to go? Now other southern states are either considering or moving forward with their redistricting plans.
We can end it there. Yeah, exactly. She makes a good point, though. Where are you going to go? And honestly, you can still vote just where you are. Except now, instead of being a majority minority black district, you'll still have representation. Now you'll just have to say, hey, listen, these are the ideas that I want to support. Do you support these ideas? You know, before I send you to Congress, do you support these ideas? Again, better schools, strong military, whatever, great economy, gas prices, whatever it may be. You support these ideas? Oh, you're black, so you understand. As if black people don't want the same thing as whites or Asians or Latinos. I mean, it's the craziest thing to me. It's the craziest thing to me. So secede from Memphis. This guy might actually listen. Here's the funny thing. Talking about seceding from Memphis, you guys realize that Memphis is safer because President Trump sent the National Guard in, and the crime is so far down there that they're blacks that couldn't stand President Trump that now love President Trump. So Memphis is better off because a Republican decided to do something to make that community, that city, safer. Majority black community safer. A white Republican did that. What a fool. What a fool. All right, let's play a few more. Cut number 17.
Pastor Timothy Hunter, Linda Scott, and Donnie Sutton have spent their lives in Shreveport and fear the future could soon resemble the past.
The reality is, at the end of the day, it's going to dilute the black vote. That's the whole purpose. This Republican Congress is all about making America Jim Crow again. There's no more check and balances. Everything that was there to guard against this type of gerrymandering is destroyed. So there's nobody to stop the train.
Can you separate politics from race in this district?
No, you can't. Not in all of these southern states.
We've come a long ways, but not with this when it comes to race, and not with the schemes that they're putting up before us. It's just a disgrace. But we must keep pressing forward. We have to. Too many people have suffered and died for us to have these rights.
Yeah. Too many people have suffered and died to give you the rights that you have. Those days are over. This is a pastor, Jim Crow. When they say black representation, he means Democrat. That pastor means Democrat. Hey, pastor, who perpetuated Jim Crow across the South? Cut number 16. Democrat Congresswoman Cleo Field says it's highly unlikely he'll win re-election if Louisiana's congressional lines are redrawn. Cut 16.
I just don't understand why there is nobody able to stop this train. You see all the wrong. Yeah. You see it's racist. You know it.
This past Monday, it was a packed house at the Galilee Baptist Church.
Okay, you can cut this. You can cut it, Gabe. You can cut it. Okay, so basically, he's going to lose his congressional lines if the lines are redrawn. Are you aware that that's happening to a black Republican in Utah? Burgess Owens is probably going to lose his seat because the Democrats out there are redistricting. He happens to be black, but it doesn't count because he's Republican. You guys realize that this has happened in other states, again, California, all across New England, New York, Illinois. But Democrats didn't care about it then. What they care about now are what they're starting to see. Republicans are starting to wake up. Republicans are starting to play ball. I don't necessarily like gerrymandering. I don't necessarily like redistricting. I wish people didn't have to do it. But honestly, I feel like it's deserved in play. I live in the state of Florida. We've got tons of people that moved to the state of Florida that abandoned all of these blue cities and these blue states that were abusing them during the COVID era. And now we didn't get our proper representation. So I think it's the right thing to do. And it doesn't mean we'll win all these seats, because you know what's going to happen? Even the Republicans are going to have to battle it out because they're going to be in diluted districts. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with good ideas rising to the top. So some Republicans are going to win, some Republicans are going to lose. But what Democrats are mostly concerned about is they thought that they were going to have an easy time winning the House of Representatives in 2026. And this redistricting race has just made that a lot more difficult. So that's what they're upset about. That's what they're upset about. They thought they were going to have the power over you to do exactly what AOC wanted to do. They thought they were going to have enough power. Like AOC said, they assume my ambition is positional. They assume my ambition is a title or a seat. My ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. So Democrats thought that they were going to be able to change this country as early as 2026. They were well on their way with Joe Biden in office, and now they're getting a wake-up call that it may not come as easy as they thought. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.